That's what I want. We want to talk about the Swedish Institute scholarship. The what, the why, the how. Then I think I should also add the when. When actually falls under the why, the how. When falls under the how. So we're going to be talking about the Swedish Institute scholarship. Those of you who are, if you are in this class, if you are listening to me, if you are looking at my screen now, that means you have probably seen some of the things I wrote about the scholarship program already. But then I'm going to add more information to what I already sent to you on WhatsApp. We are going to be looking at different aspects of the scholarship. Today's class is just going to be like a kind of introduction. This is going to be like the first in a series of maybe four to six sessions. It could be four, it could be five, it could be six. It depends. Okay. This is going to be the first session. We're going to do another session in about 2 weeks from now. So we're going to be doing it every two weeks until January next year, until January or February next year. Okay, we'll talk about the Swedish scholarship, things that you can do, lots of things to help people basically with the scholarship. And like I said, it's participating in this class comes at a cost. It's not really free. Okay. So you guys already know the cost. If you have not paid, make sure you make your payments. Otherwise, we are going to remove you from the group. That's just by the way, anyway. So, what is this all about? Let's move on. Let me start with this foundation. Studying abroad. Why is it good to study abroad? Why is it beneficial to study abroad? Because I believe that if you want to do anything, it's always good to start with a strong reason. Okay? A strong reason will help you to follow through on anything you want to do, and it will help you to overcome obstacles and challenges that come along the line. Okay, so I think some of you guys must have seen the things I've been posting on my WhatsApp status for some days now. And one of the responses I got, somebody sent me a message there, and the person wrote, what the person wrote was very simple. The person wrote, I wish it was easy. The person wrote, I wish it was easy. That was in response to this scholarship thing that I posted on my status. And I really did not respond to the person because truth be told, nothing is actually easy. Nothing is easy in this life. Okay? From the moment you were born, it has always been from one challenge to another, from one challenge to another. And you need to understand that the fact that you are here today shows that you have some capacity to overcome every challenge that comes your way. So you shouldn't be always bothered about how difficult something will be. You should know that, okay, whatever it is, I have the capacity to handle it. Okay? So this issue of winning a scholarship too is not easy. That's just the hard truth. Okay? It's not easy, and it's not going to get easier next year. Okay? It's something that is going to be challenging. It's going to stretch you. Okay? But then at the end of the day, if you eventually win the scholarship, you're going to see that the effort was worth it. Okay? So for you to pull through and follow through and overcome every challenge that comes, you need to start with a strong reason. What is your reason for wanting to study abroad? That's number one. Number two, why do you want to win a scholarship? By the way, this Swedish Institute scholarship is just one of the many scholarships available for you to take advantage of as a Nigerian. There are so many scholarship offers all over the world in many different countries. Sweden alone has about 6 to 7 scholarships that people can tap into. There are scholarships in many other countries. I'll talk about that later on. But what is the benefits? What do you stand to benefit? Number one is that what studying abroad gives you the opportunity to build an international network. If I ask some of you now, how many non-Nigerians do you have as friends? Majority of you on this call are Nigerians. How many of your friends are non-Nigerians? For example, how many of your friends are Americans? How many of your friends are Chinese? How many of your friends are Indians? How many of your friends are South Africans? How many of your friends are Kenyans? How many of your friends are non-Nigerians? This kind of thing is very, very important because when opportunities come up that require people from other country, they might think about you. They'll just think, I know somebody in Nigeria. Let me talk to the person. International network. International network. It's good to have a network of friends, a network of associates, a network of colleagues, okay, network of professionals, network of business partners in other countries because it puts you in a position where you can take advantage of different opportunities. Okay, so that's one of the benefits. You go and study abroad, you study in maybe Sweden, for example, now. You are going to meet with people from other countries. And then you're going to build a network with them. You're going to build friendship with them. You're going to build a connection with them that can serve you for a long time in your life. So that's number one benefit. Number two benefit is that you get the opportunity to work abroad. Okay, for most of these schools where you go and study abroad, these countries, most of them will give you the opportunity to get a work permit after your studies and work for some time there, maybe 2 years or 3 years. Most of them will do that. Sweden too is like that. You will have the opportunity to get a work permit after your studies and work for some time. Okay? And then if you want to leave after your studies, you can leave. If you want to stay for 2 years after your study, you can stay and work. You get a work permit. So you have the opportunity to work abroad. Why is it good to work abroad? It gives you international work experience. That's the benefit. It increases the value of the work that you're going to contribute when, or let's say if and when you eventually return to your home country. So home country basically refers to Nigeria for those of you who are living in Nigeria. I hope you guys are following me. Let me be sure you guys are following me. Let me see if you are following me. I want you to type in the chat box and say, yes, I am following you. Let me see who is. Let me pause for a while. If you are following me, let me see your message. Just type in the Zoom chat and say, yes, I am following you. Let me know who is with me. Let me be sure that I am not just talking like a radio. Okay, thank you very much, Cleopatra. Thank you for that feedback. Okay, Alao Akim, thank you very much. So, benefits of studying abroad. So, my point is that what you need to start with a strong why. Okay, number three benefit is that you get the opportunity to relocate abroad with your family. Okay, is it that you relocate with them as a student or they come and meet you after you have completed your studies? Most countries will give you that opportunity. They call it, in international terms, they call it family reunification. There is hardly any country that would stop you from bringing your family to come and meet you. I mean, I don't think there's any, especially if you are a young person below 50 years of age. Okay, so you have the opportunity to relocate abroad with your family. Okay, and then you can start a new life outside of Nigeria. This is particularly a huge thing for many Nigerians who want to move to another country to start a new life. Okay, so that's reason number three, the opportunity to relocate abroad with your family. Number four is to develop and build a globally diverse experience and perspective. Studying abroad gives you the opportunity to see things from a global perspective. You stop thinking like a local champion. Let me put it that way. You start thinking like somebody who has had some global experience because you have interacted with people from other countries. And so that will inform the way you view a lot of things. This is particularly important for many of us in Nigeria who have not, gone far. Okay, so that's reason number four. Reason number five is prestige and high regard from people in your home country. There's just this thing about people. When you tell people that, or when people know that you studied abroad, maybe even if you don't tell them the country, even if it's okay, even if you mention one African country, let me not mention any African country now. If let's assume you study in one African country, okay, let's say you are in Nigeria now and you study in one African country, maybe let's say maybe Tanzania or Kenya or Ghana or somewhere, and you tell them that I schooled abroad, they will not ask you which country. It's not likely they will ask you which country. There's a level of regard and respect they will first give you because you studied abroad, especially if that person talking to you did not study abroad. Okay, so there's this prestige and regard that comes with what? With having some kind of overseas educational exposure. Okay, so these are things that you can use as your reasons. There are many other reasons apart from this. You can also think and ask yourself, okay, why do I want to pursue this line of action? What is my goal? What is my reason? What is my driving force? Okay, so you need to start with a strong why. And I'm going to always refer to this as we go on in the following weeks or months, as we look at, as we address more issues, there will be challenges that will come up. Okay, we're going to be discussing those things in our WhatsApp group and during sessions like this. Okay, so that we can all support ourselves. Okay, I believe that a number of us will be able to secure this scholarship. Okay, so this is the highest thing. The highest thing for this training is for you to secure the scholarship. If you are not able to secure the scholarship, it's possible that you get the admission and then they will ask you to pay. There's a way around that. I'm going to talk about that during one of our sessions. Okay, if you are not able to secure the scholarship and you don't get admission, you get some experience to be able to use to apply to other to apply for other scholarship programs. There are so many scholarship programs that are going to be I'm going to be doing sessions on trainings on in the next couple of months. So I mean, just watch out. Stay connected to my WhatsApp status. You're going to be seeing all those things on my WhatsApp status. My goal is to help as many people as possible secure scholarship to study abroad over the next 12 months. So, studying abroad, the benefits. Now, in Europe, there are many study destinations. When we say study destinations, we are basically talking about countries that people go to, especially Nigerians, Africans. Okay, Nigerians are perhaps the group of people that travel abroad for educational purposes more than any other country in Africa. I mean, I don't know, maybe South Africa. I don't even think South Africa matches up to Nigerians' quota. You have more Nigerians in practically every what's it called? University in Europe than people from other countries. Okay, so what are the top study destinations? I've listed 6 on this slide here. 6 of them, 6 countries that you see many Nigerians go to for different reasons. But the major reason is what? Low tuition fee. Okay, some of them don't even charge tuition. For example, Germany. There are so many universities in Germany where you don't pay tuition. You only pay, there's something they call semester fee there, and it's very minimal. It's something that you can handle as a Nigerian. Okay, many universities in Germany are tuition free, and the courses are taught in English. They have courses that are taught in English. So don't think that you have to learn German. No, it's not compulsory. There are courses. Just look for courses that are taught in English and apply for them. Okay, France. You have schools in France too. France will charge some tuition, but it's not as high as what you have in UK. UK is perhaps the most expensive country. Okay, of all the countries on this list. Okay, schools in the UK are the most expensive. So, but then for UK, you have lots of scholarship opportunities in the UK. You have Chevening scholarship, you have Commonwealth scholarship, so many scholarship opportunities to take advantage of. Schools, universities in the UK also offer partial scholarships to students. You understand? So you can take advantage of those things. Some of them offer instrumental payment packages. Okay, that's for the UK. Netherlands, schools in Netherlands will offer you, some will offer you scholarships, okay? And then their tuition is also something affordable, something that you can handle. By the way, when we say affordable, we are not talking about 100,000 naira. Whenever I say affordable in terms of studying abroad, we are basically talking about, okay, something within 4 million to 10 million. That's what I mean by affordable, okay? So if you think 10 million is still too expensive, then there's plenty of work for you to do. Okay. But then most schools, I mean, in these countries, they are still okay. Netherlands, France, Sweden, and then Finland. The tuition fees are low. Okay. So these are top study destinations. France, UK, Netherlands, Germany, Sweden, Finland. These are just countries in Europe. I've not there. We have countries in what's it called? Asia. Some Nigerians go to China to study. That's not the focus of today's class. Some Nigerians go to India to study. Okay, I once had one of my students that won a scholarship to study in India. Unfortunately, the guy did not go. The 2 weeks after the guy won the scholarship, COVID lockdown happened and he could not travel. That's what happened to the guy. Very, very painful. Very, very painful. That was long ago anyway. So Nigerians go to so we have Asia, we have America. America refers to Canada and the United States. Plenty of Nigerians go to those two countries. You have South America. So Nigerians go to Brazil to study. So, but the focus of what we have on this slide is Europe. So, but we are not limited to these countries only. We have so many places that you can explore. So many places that you can explore. Okay. Now, we are focusing on the Swedish, we are focusing on universities in Sweden tonight. Okay, that's the focus. And when it comes to studying in Sweden, there are so many scholarship opportunities to tap into. The top on the list of scholarships available to university students in Sweden is the Swedish Institute scholarship. This scholarship is open only to individuals that apply for master's program in selected universities. It's not all universities that the institute supports. Okay, it's just there's a select number of universities that you have to go to be able to qualify for the scholarship. We're going to be addressing that during some other sessions. So it is strictly for master's program. So if you have not done your BSc or if you do not have an HND, you cannot apply for a master's program in Sweden. So to apply for a master's program in Sweden, you must have your bachelor's degree, okay? Or you must have an HND. If you have an HND from a polytechnic in Nigeria, they would consider you. They used to do that. I don't think they should change that this year. Okay, so that's always been the pattern. So, but it's basically masters. Okay, and practically all the courses that I can think of are covered. All practically, you can't mention a course. Just mention a course. I'll tell you that to be covered. It will be covered. I mean, practically almost every course you can think of will be covered. Okay, so it's open to citizens of 33 countries. So you have the countries on the list here. You notice that some countries are in color. I think this is yellow. Those are African countries. Okay, and you can see that Nigeria is one of them. Okay, Nigeria is one of them. Unfortunately, Ghana is not on the list. Cameroon is not on the list. I don't know why. I don't know what Ghana and Cameroon did to them. But then um, I guess there will be some other scholarships that the Ghanaians can take advantage of in Sweden. Okay, so if you are a Nigerian, I believe majority of you here you are Nigerians. You can take advantage of this scholarship. All right, you are going to be paid aside from the full tuition. In other words, you are not paying tuition fee. Tuition fee to study in Sweden, it's about for many of the schools there, you are going to pay about 300 Swedish kron. The name of their currency is kron, Kron. I think that's how they pronounce it. Swedish kron, SEK. Cost about 350, 300, some 250. Okay. But the Swedish Institute will pay for that. You understand now? So you're not paying tuition. Okay, somebody says, what of accommodation? Well, to cater for accommodation and other expenses, the institute will pay you 12,000 Swedish kron every month as your living expenses, your living allowance. That's about 1,000 euros, or let's put it in naira, 1.7 million naira. Okay, out of that money, just assume that you're going to be spending about 40% on accommodation. And then you can use the rest for other things, feeding, transport, and other things. But they're going to be paying you, I mean, monthly allowance. If you win this scholarship, you're going to be getting monthly allowance. Then you're going to be getting a travel grant. So let's assume you win the scholarship now and you travel to Sweden. When you get to Sweden, within 3 to 4 weeks, they're going to pay you these travel grants to cover for your trip, for your traveling, for your plane ticket and everything from Nigeria to Sweden. They're going to pay you a travel grant. Can you see another benefit? Then health insurance, your health insurance during your stay in Sweden, during the time of your studies, okay, they're going to pay for it. So you see that it's not I mean, it's not going to cost you a lot, okay, to study in Sweden if you win this scholarship. Okay. Then if you completed a BSc program taught in English and you have proof of that, you do not need to take IELTS to apply to universities in Sweden. This should be Sweden. Okay. So if you studied in Nigeria, so most Nigerians really do not need to take IELTS to apply to universities in Sweden because Nigeria uses English to teach people in the university. So you just need to attach, there's something we call proof of English proficiency, something like that. I can't remember the exact name now. Proof of English proficiency. You're going to attach it to your application and submit it when you're applying to the university in Sweden. Okay, so benefits, or let me say 8 important facts that you need to keep in mind regarding the Swedish Institute scholarship. Now, let's move on. There's a timeline I want us to keep in mind. Okay, like I said, this is going to be like an introduction. We're going to be having more sessions as we go on, and I'm going to be sharing some points, strategies, some more tips in the WhatsApp group with you every week, maybe once a week or twice a week. I will be posting stuff in the WhatsApp group for you to benefit from. If you are not in the Swedish Scholarship WhatsApp group, you need to join that group. It's very, very important. And you want to learn more about this scholarship or you want to apply for this scholarship, you need to join that group. It's going to help you. Now, we are in September 2025. As at the time of this lesson, this is September 2025. What the best thing to do now is to begin to research and prepare for your application. The application, applying to schools in Sweden will not commence until October. Okay, so in October, they are going to open their portal. Okay, the Swedish University Admission Board, just like in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we have something called JAMB. Okay, Sweden has something like that too. So they are going to open their application portal in October. The exact date, I'm not sure yet. You're going to know. I would announce in the group when it's open. So it's going to be in October. So by the time it opens in October, you'll be able to create an account. You'll be able to research and check the details of the offers of different schools and finalize on the schools you want. That's going to commence in October. And the portal will be open from October till January. So October, November, December, January. That's why I said that this series of lessons will continue till January. So you have a lot to benefit from. At least we'll do sessions at least twice a month just to update you guys and to take 1 or 2 questions and to address different issues that we might be facing. So this is preparation time. August, September is preparation time. Oh, sorry, I said earlier on that we are in September. Actually, we are in August. So this is preparation time, okay? And then by October, when the portal opens, you can now start creating your account and then preparing the necessary documents for different schools. Different schools in Sweden have different requirements. So the order is this. The order of application is that you first apply to schools or to universities in Sweden for a master's program. For example, there's a university in Sweden called University of Gothenburg. You apply to that school, you apply to 3 other schools. There are 4 schools you can apply to at a time. Okay, so you apply to 4 schools. And then, what's it called? After applying to those schools, you will now apply for scholarship for the Swedish Institute scholarship. So that's how the thing works. Okay, so applying to those schools will involve paying an application fee. Okay, I need to make that clear. You're going to pay an application fee. I think it's about 900 crowns or so. I'm going to give you the exact figure during our next session. So you're going to pay an application fee. All right, that's going straight to the Sweden University's admission, body. Every other expense that you will incur is going to be expense that has to do with your Nigerian people. For example, if you don't have international passport, you're going to pay for that. Okay, if you want to get your English proficiency certificate from your university, you're going to pay for that. If you want to get your transcript, you are going to be required to send your transcript to to university's admission board. You're going to pay for that. You understand? All those things, they are expenses that have to do with what? With your Nigerian authorities. It's not going to Sweden. Okay, so those are the costs that you are going to need to also factor in. Somebody says, how much will everything cost? I cannot answer that question. Okay, somebody who graduated from University of Lagos, okay, what it will cost them will be different for somebody who graduated from Covenant University. It's going to be different from, I mean, the cost will be different for somebody who graduated from University of Abuja. So the cost varies. The idea is just to know, okay, what am I going to be paying for? So like I said, you are paying for transcript, you are paying for proficiency letter, you are paying for international passport if you don't have different things. You are going to see those requirements when the time comes to begin to apply to the universities. So the things to pay for also depends on the schools you are applying for. Okay, depends on the schools you are applying for. For example, some schools will require you to do IELTS, regardless of whether you studied in English or not. Well, if you study in Nigeria, I won't advise you to go and do IELTS because of Sweden. It's not needed. Just look for a school that doesn't need IELTS. There are many of them. Just a few of them will require you to do IELTS. So the costs, overall costs, will vary from person to person. Do you get my point now? Depends on so many factors. Hope you get my point now. So your transcript is extremely important. That transcript will be sent from your school to Swedish admission body. You cannot use student copy. Let me say that again now. So if anybody gets delayed with this Swedish thing, it's most likely going to be because of transcripts. So if you have never processed your transcript before, I'm going to advise you to start processing it now. Okay, because for some schools, transcript takes a long while. Some people, they don't get their transcript ready until after 6 months, which is somehow. So if you have never processed your transcript before from your university, start working on it now. They are not going to accept student copy. I'm saying that again now, okay? They are not going to accept unofficial copy. It has to be it has to be something sent straight from your school to the admission body in Sweden. Okay? So after admission stuff, the scholarship will now, the scholarship portal will open. The scholarship portal will usually open for about 2 weeks. That's in February next year. 2 weeks to do everything about the scholarship. You understand? Now, the preparation for that scholarship is extremely important, and that's why this training is very, very important. Okay, so the best time to begin to prepare is now. Don't wait until February to start preparing for Swedish Institute scholarship. It's too late by then. Okay, so the best time is now. We're going to be looking at that later on. So after the scholarship portal opens in February, it closes after 2 weeks, and then by March, university admissions will be announced. The schools will send you a mail to indicate that, okay, you've been given admission or what have you. And then by April, the scholarship winners will be announced. So this is the timeline of events leading up to the what? To the announcement of scholarships. Hope you get my point now. So all the things that you will need to do, how to access the admission portal and everything, all those things will be discussed during the course of this our training, during the course of these sessions that we are going to be having over the next couple of months. So like I said, we are going to be doing this at least twice a month. Okay, at least twice a month, so that you can learn more and more, and follow through on this Swedish Institute application. Hope you get my point. So let me see. I think I saw a question now. Somebody said, how do we get the address? I don't know what you mean by address. Kindly clarify what you mean by address. Now, what documents do I need? Okay, so I have listed 5 documents here. Now, these documents that I've put here, they are documents for the scholarship. They are different from the things that you need for admission. Okay, so like I said, you're going to pick 4. So like I said, you're going to pick 4 schools or 4 universities. Sometimes I like using the word school. Okay, you are going to pick 4 universities. Okay, University A will require some documents from you. University B will require, it could be those same documents or some other documents. You understand now? The documents that universities will require from you will vary from university to university, but there are things that you can get. That one is sure. I'm 100% certain of that. For example, transcripts. Okay, your transcript, your BSc certificates, those are things you can get. And then when we start exploring the universities, the different universities, you're going to see those things and you're going to learn. So, for this that you have on the screen now, these are the 5 major documents you need for your what? For your scholarship application. You're going to need 2 reference letters. Okay, so there's a template that the Swedish Institute usually release. Okay, so and your reference letter should follow the template. Okay, the letter should be written in line with the template. Okay, so one letter would come from a referee who can attest to your work experience, maybe somebody that you have worked with, maybe your boss, your current boss, or your former boss, okay, or somebody that maybe a client that you worked with, that you worked for a long period of time. So that person can attest to your work or professional experience. And then the other letter can come from somebody who knows you in terms of your academic ability, or maybe somebody who knows that you have been involved in some kind of civil activities. Civil activities basically refers maybe NGO activities or some kind of community building activities. Okay, so you need 2 reference letters. So you need to begin to think now. The reason why I'm showing you this is so that you can start thinking. So that you can start thinking. By the way, somebody is thinking, what is the age barrier? There's no age barrier. There's no age. If you are 50 years old, you can apply. That's one of the interesting things about this Swedish Institute scholarship. Okay, there's no age barrier. Okay, there's no age limit to it, no matter how old you are. Okay, if you are young and you have your BSc, you can apply. If you are 18 years old and you have your BSc, you can apply. If you are 50 years old and you have your BSc, you can apply. Do you understand now? Somebody says, what if you are 60 years old? Well, I don't know about that one. I don't know why somebody who is 60 years old wants to be going to Sweden to study. So I'm not going to answer that one. So reference letter 2. CV, you need a CV. There's a template to follow for your CV. The template usually, let me show you. All these templates that you are seeing here, SI template for the reference letter, template for the CV, template for the letter of motivation, template for the proof of work and leadership experience. All those templates will be released in February, in November. In November, look at it. SI scholarship application documents. They're going to release all the templates in November. So you're going to see what the template looks like. But before November, during this course of this our training, I'm going to be sharing you the old templates, the templates that they used in 2023, the templates that they used in 2024, the template that they used in 2022, the template that they used in 2021. You understand? So that you can have an idea of what 2025's template will most likely look like. And you can start preparing for it. I hope you get my point. So, CV, letter of motivation. This is very, very important. Most of the schools in Sweden will also require you to send a letter of motivation. So the letter of motivation that you send to the school can be adjusted a little bit and used for the scholarship. Do you understand? You shouldn't send the same letter actually, because I mean there should be some uniqueness to your letter. Okay, for the 2 bodies. Then proof of work and leadership. So these are 2 documents. There's going to be a document that shows that you have worked for, I think it's 2 years. I'm going to give you the specific figure during our next session. So you must have worked for about 2 years for you to qualify for this scholarship. There's a way they calculate this stuff. There's a way they calculate the work experience of a thing. We're going to discuss it later. Then leadership experience also you need to also prepare a document to show that okay, you have some leadership experience. Leadership experience could mean leadership in your place of work. It could mean leadership in your community, maybe in your neighborhood. It could mean leadership in your church or in your mosque. Okay, leadership in maybe an NGO. where you worked in. Maybe you were the president of the NGO, or you were the assistant president, or deputy, is it assistant, okay, vice president, or you were the secretary, some kind of leadership role that you have had you leadership experience. So that's another thing that you will need to prepare for. And then, of course, your international passport. That's the only acceptable means of identification for Nigeria. They are not going to accept your NIN. So don't bother asking whether they accept NIN. They do not accept NIN. It has to be your word. It has to be your international passport. And that international passport has to be current, I think, until July next year, July 2026. I think. I'm going to confirm and I will give you updates during our next session. So these are the things that you're going to need to apply for the what? For the scholarship, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I think that's all I have for you for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any questions, let me just take 1 or 2 questions. Let me check. Does anybody have any question on what I've said so far? Any question? If you have any question, feel free to drop your question in the Zoom chat. Let me see if I can take 1 or 2 questions. I can see some questions here. I've addressed some questions here. How do we get the address? I meant the board. Which board? Which board are you referring to? Everything is done online. Anything you are sending to them, you will send it online. Your transcript will be sent online. Transcripts are sent online. Okay, you are not sending it by post. Okay, if you want to send it by post, it's going to be expensive. And I don't even advise you send your stuff by post to Swedish Institute. You send it online. There's a digital way to send transcripts nowadays. Okay, so that's that for the issue of, I think that's what you're referring to about address. Somebody says, is there a maximum number of schools to apply for? Yes, 4 schools. You can apply to more than 4 schools. Okay, 4 schools. Okay, 4 schools. That's the maximum number of schools that you can apply to. So during our next session, I'm going to be showing you the different schools that people have applied to. So many things I will be showing you during our next session. And I will be addressing other questions. If you have any other question that you want to ask, feel free to drop your question in the WhatsApp group. So we have a WhatsApp group for the scholars, for the Swedish Institute Scholarship. That group is dedicated to that. So you can just post your question in the group so that other people can also learn. Okay, don't send it to me personally. I prefer you send it to the group so that people can see the question too and they will see the answer so that all of us can help ourselves. So just drop your question in the WhatsApp group and I can attend to it as soon as possible. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you have learned something from this short, about 45 minute session. I look forward to talking more with you in the WhatsApp group, and then I'm going to announce the dates for the next Zoom meeting like this. It's probably going to be in 2 weeks from now. Okay, I'm going to announce it in the WhatsApp group when I've cleared my calendar for that. So once again, thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening.